Hey, what's up guys? It's Jonathan here. The concept of debt has had a very negative connotation in today's society. But even though we hear stories of people who are up to their eyeballs in debt, debt could actually be a very valuable tool to use to build your wealth. Most people don't realize this, but there are many different types of debt. So in this video, I'll explain the 3 different types of debt and give you some examples of each type. And all I ask for in return is that you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It greatly helps out the channel. So let's get right into it. So the first type of debt we're going to talk about is good debt. Good debt is basically any debt that makes or saves you money. Usually this type of debt is low interest, fixed term, fixed rate, and helps you build your net worth over time. This is usually because the underlying asset behind the loan generally appreciates in value over time. One good example of this is a fixed term, fixed rate home mortgage. A long-term, low-interest, fixed-rate mortgage can be one of the greatest tools that you can use to build your net worth. Every time you pay a mortgage that's fully amortized with a fixed term and a fixed rate, you're slowly building equity in your home. By building equity in your home, you're slowly increasing your net worth over time. And homes tend to appreciate in value over time as well. So you're building not only equity in your property, but you're also benefiting on the appreciation as well. Another example that most people wouldn't think about is student loan debt. Now, I do know there's a lot of people are in crushing amounts of student loans, but generally speaking, if a fixed rate, low interest student loan debt can be a great tool to help you make more money. Generally speaking, a fixed rate, low interest student loan can be a great tool to help you make more money. If you're currently at a job that has little to no room for advancement, and you were to go to college and get your degree in a field that's in demand, you're more likely to move yourself out of a job where you don't have much prospects for growth into a job where you have more opportunities to advance. In some cases, taking on debt to get a college degree makes sense. There's plenty of other examples of what debt would be considered good debt. But pretty much any debt that can make or save you money or build your net worth over time is considered good debt. And this debt you shouldn't be afraid of taking out. Now, the second type of debt we're going to talk about is bad debt. Bad debt is a debt that may be necessary to take on but doesn't build your net worth over time. It's usually low interest and fixed term, but unlike good debt, the underlying asset loses value over time. In some cases, this kind of debt can actually decrease your net worth over time. By the way I explained it, you could probably take a guess of a good example of this, but the example I was going to use is car loans. Loans for cars are unfortunately a necessary evil in our society today. If you have certain life circumstances that require you to drive to whether it's work or whatever else you have to do, you may have no choice but to take out a car note or a car loan. Generally speaking, cars are considered a depreciating asset, and new cars over the first 3 years of their lives usually lose about 50% of their value. To avoid this instant decrease of net worth, your best bet is to buy a used car that's anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. And if you do have to take out a loan to buy it, so be it. But if you can pay for it in cash, you may be better off doing that. This kind of debt can be very tricky because it kind of disguises itself as good debt. But in reality, it's not. It's actually debt that if you can, you should try to avoid. The third type of debt we're going to talk about is what I call worst debt. And basically, worst debt is debt that's just completely unnecessary and they should avoid at all costs. This kind of debt can adversely affect your financial situation. Usually this debt is very high interest and has very unfavorable payback terms. In some cases, the interest rates on some of these loans can be so high that it causes your loan to negatively amortize. And what negative amortization is basically where you make the minimum payments, and the minimum payments are enough to cover the interest cost. So the amount that you own keeps going up and up and up, even though you are making the payments. The interest on these loans are usually variable rate as well, which can make it even harder to pay off these loans, especially in an environment where you have increase in interest rates. So one very common example of this kind of debt is credit card debt. Credit cards are a great tool to use to build your credit score and to earn rewards on your spending. but if not managed properly, credit card debt can ruin your finances. The average rate on credit cards are about 17.89% APR. The interest on credit cards tend to compound on a daily basis. These two factors alone cause most credit cards to negatively amortize. Another example of this kind of debt, a HELOC or home equity line of credit. Generally, this allows you to borrow against the equity that you have in your home. The problem necessarily isn't you taking out a HELOC, but it's what you use your HELOC to buy. So if you go and you take a HELOC out on your home and you use it to go buy a boat or to go buy an RV or to make very extravagant renovations to your home, then that might not be the best use of that money. But if you're using that money to go and buy more real estate or to go and buy more stocks or to go invest that money in some way, maybe even to grow your business, then that's a much better use of a HELOC. Now, HELOCs are variable rate, but they usually tend to be a lot lower than credit cards. Credit cards, like I said, usually hover in about the 17-18% range, while right now HELOCs are hovering in about the 5% range. Another example of worse debt is payday loans. Payday loans have extremely high interest rates. Usually it could be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3,000% annually. And they tend to compound on a daily basis. They're almost impossible to pay off. I'm not even going to go further into them, but just, I would much rather see you take out a credit card and max it out before you even touch a payday loan. They are absolutely terrible. The idea of having debt may be very scary, but if managed properly, debt can be a very useful tool for you to build your net worth and save you money over the long run. Knowing the difference between these three types of debt is critical to reach your financial goals. So I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the information shared in this video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It greatly helps out the channel. Also, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment down below. I try to respond to every comment that is posted. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I try to post there almost every day. And thank you for watching. Until next time.